grin on his face.
2-3 reach type of guy to defend other teams. Small forward.
Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh, no! It is nothing.
He's down by as many as 16 in this game. What a spin move! So hand the destroyer! Caruso on him, backing in. Continues to go to work with the move and the throwdown. Vicious. Scotty.
Pacers down 5 halfway through the third quarter. Downtown Indianapolis. Turner.
Ahead to Banchero. Banchero gonna take it, fly over the top of Joseph and draw the foul.
He didn't want to play. Kevin Garnett didn't want to play, who at the time was 2004 was MVP of the league. You had Shaq, who no longer wanted to play. But in all fairness to him, he had played before, in both the World Cup and an Olympics. So he'd done the best of both worlds.
I think Shaq might have felt a little slighted too from that first time when they picked Christian Laettner.
That's right. Yeah, of course. As we know, they because previously they'd picked college players mostly for the teams, and they decided to keep that tradition and pick one. For those of you who don't know, going back to 1992, they picked Christian Laettner over Shaq. Both of them were considered the two best players coming out of that draft. And, Shaq drafted one, Laettner drafted two. But at the time they picked that team, the draft hadn't even happened. So, it only got worse for Shaq because he ended up going and being picked number one. He got mad, what have you, blah, 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 blah. They'd never even played a game of NBA yet, neither of them by that point. But, all fairness to Shaq, I agree. But then let's sort of touch on the last bit of the past, and that is the Redeem Team of 2008. They finally convinced Kobe to play. Kobe was going through some personal stuff. He'd had some allegations, some legal issues in the United States. He was having a bit of a tumultuous sort of tenure, I guess. I'd come off a tumultuous tenure towards the end of that Shaq and Kobe era. And 2008 rung around. And obviously, he goes on to win. He goes on to lose in the finals that next season. But he has comes in and plays for Team USA. And has just a fantastic run. Obviously, you've got LeBron James, who's at this point 5 years into his career. You've got Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, just an absolute beast of a team. And they, donned the Redeem Team because they went ahead and as you know, won gold, right? So in the 2008 Olympics in China. Now, just quick thoughts on that one, guys. I'm going to go Ebony first and then to Trippy.
Well, yeah, we needed this one.
Yeah.
We needed this one. This was the show the world. Not so quick, not so fast.
Yeah.
We still here. We took a little time off, but we back.
Yeah.
I just think, they needed it. It's the correct name for a team, Redeem Team. They definitely did that. This roster is filled with Hall of Famers too. Bunch of Hall of Famers and future Hall of Famers. So they had who was a Wade, like you said, Kobe's. Everybody showed out for this one. They wanted, they had to get gold. I guess that bronze left a real sour taste in everybody's mouth. Pause.
Definitely. Yeah, and I think the other thing, right? So you mentioned the names was. So it was definitely a redemption team, right? For Kobe, not for Kobe, for LeBron, Carmelo, and D Wade, because they were all a part of that 2004 Athens team. Now, granted, they were only a year into their career at this point, their professional career, when they played in Athens. So now for them, it was a real redemption because they'd started off their international career with a bronze, right? And this is 3 of the top 5 picks out of the 2003 drafts. 1, 3, and 5. 1, 3, and 5. 4, 5, right? Yeah, 5. Sorry, 1, 3, and 5. So LeBron 1, Melo 3, and D Wade 5. So and arguably the 3 best players out of that draft too. With Chris Bosh close behind. But Trippy, your thoughts anyway, man, on the Redeem Team.
All I can say is, man, Carmelo Anthony and Kobe, but they all showed out in their own individual way. Like, I feel like with that aspect, you got to really see the individual side of the player's game really develop, and then transition into the season. This was the outbreak of that. But of course, this is just the title run of of like Melo's history right here. This is the start of gold Melo history making Melo. You feel me? Like this is Mr. Gold Medal. And that's just really it. And of course, with all the allegations towards Kobe, and you pull that off, especially after what he was pulling off on the court. So it was like, it was the best. It was beauty. It was definitely a
Yeah.
beauty.
The final roster of this team, they had 11 All-Stars, one Hall of Fame coach, and at the time it was one MVP. They had one MVP on the team. Now, so like you could just from that alone, you just say how deep that team was. And like Trippy mentioned, FIBA Olympic Melo, they say he one of the best scorers in Olympic history. So he didn't get a championship, but he showed out. Like he said, you give him a basketball, it doesn't matter where, he's gonna make things happen.
That's
Walking
right.
bucket Melo.
That's right. And you know what I loved about what this set up too? And then, it doesn't matter how you feel about LeBron or Melo or any of these guys, because we all have different feelings about it. Certain people don't like Kobe, certain people don't like LeBron, certain people don't like Melo. But the one thing that I will give props to every single one of person that's participated in this Redeem team and what that set up again was the fact of participation. So you saw high participation rates from superstars across international tournaments. And that's what we wanted to see. That's what not just USA wanted to see, but the world wanted to see, because it gives people a chance when these competitions are held in these other countries too, to get to see the best players in the world from arguably the best league in the world, right? Or undisputedly, I should say, the best league in the world being the NBA. But it set up a thing, because then you had, World Cups, you had further Olympics, so it was 2008 Redeem Team won that, 2012 in London won that, 2014 World Cup with, you had Russ, you had Harden, you had, Kevin Durant, all these guys. Obviously, Kevin Durant participated, I believe, in 2012 Olympics as well. Then you had 2016 in Rio, where they won their last one sort of together, and that was number 3 for Melo. Like, these guys wanted to show out, and that was the other thing, besides sort of say 1994, we'd sort of struggled to see good teams pull up for the World Cup, right? Or superstars, even back then. Like, they wanted to participate more in the Olympics than the World Cup. And I think this is what this set up is. These guys were like, international is international. Granted, there was a couple teams that sort of slid between sort of 2016 and I want to say the Olympics that just went a little bit sort of by the wayside, but it never dropped significantly to the point where, you just had guys that didn't want to turn up, say, for instance, like 2002. So, yeah, I mean, just set up the pins for what we're seeing today. And obviously, as you know, very, very successful. I'll just quickly go through that. So 2008, obviously, as you guys know, gold in Beijing. Then you had 2010 gold in Turkey in the World Cup. Then you had 2012 London Olympics, a gold there. Then you had 2014 Spain World Cup, gold there. And then 2016 Rio, gold there, right? So missing out on obviously the I believe it was 2018 World Cup, didn't win that. But then had the 2020 Tokyo gold medal, obviously, as we know. But yeah, just unbelievable, showing from a team to get it back together after all those things. So
Definitely.